Like, that's why most people don't stick to their New Year's Eve resolutions, is because they're like, okay, I'm going to do this. I've made myself accountable to other people. But then they find by February that the gym membership has waned. They're eating cakes and nachos again. Okay, maybe that's just me. But what happens is that we're not getting that dopamine hit anymore. There was actually a snippet from Inbound of Serena Williams, if you look at the Inbound Instagram, where they were talking about her and like, you know, winning is addictive. Being the best is the thing, but then you get to a point where you when she's won 23 freaking Grand Slams. After the 20th, you're kind of like, okay, I don't feel, I'm playing at my best, but it's like, can someone just challenge me? Think about your goals, making them personally meaningful, aligning with what your values are, and then identifying how you're going to write those down and quantifying those things, and then creating action commitments to it, and writing those down as well, and sharing it with someone else who you'll be held accountable to and report with, that'll support you in making the changes that you need to make. We need to keep in mind as we're setting goals is a lot of people just set goals for the next year, but thinking about how did the goals for next year impact the year after that and the year after that and the year after that? Like, what is it setting you up for? It's not just about reaching that one goal next year. One of the things that happens in our brains and why most people, even if they write down their goals, don't always reach them is because as soon as we start thinking about something and then we start writing it down, we actually get dopamine released in our brains in the anticipation of those goals being reached. And so in our brains, as soon as we've thought about it and written it down, it's like it's already happened. That dopamine release we get it before we actually achieve the goal. And so then it's tricky for us to stay motivated after we've written it down. And that's why one of the things that I wrote in the book for Buyer First was that it's not enough just to write these things down, but we actually also have to activate the areas of our brain again to keep getting those dopamine hits. And so when we break things down into smaller chunks of what we need to do in order to achieve a bigger goal, we're giving ourselves little dopamine hits along the way. And so we're more likely to do it. Also, Atomic Habits, what they write about there is habit stacking. And so it's even taking it to that level of we're just creating small changes that accumulate like interest in the bank over a period of time. So what actually happens in our brains is with the dopamine that we're getting is as we're trying to pursue the goal and the little milestones and markers along the way to getting there. And so that's one of the things I think that most people miss when they set their goals is they think about, okay, I'm going to create this big, audacious goal, and I'm going to write it down. I'm going to share it with the world, and then nothing happens, and they don't understand what's missing. And I think it's that part that we're not breaking it down into the smaller things that we can do. I never set the goal that I was going to lose 105 pounds. But I did set the goal that I wanted to feel a certain way and that I wanted to be stronger and all of these other types of things. So it was more based off of a feeling. But I still every week weighed myself. I tracked all of the things that I did. I took one habit a week to incorporate into my routine, whether that was eating more vegetables and fruit. And then next I moved on to, drinking more water in the day. And then I added other ones onto it. It's the small things that we do that gives us the dopamine that encourages us to keep going. And we start to see the small improvements and like, okay, this is working. I think we also need to remember that none of us are promised the destination. We're only promised the journey to get there. And our brains are wired to give us the rewards on the journey to get there. So set a goal, but then have another goal behind that that's even bigger than that so that you're continually working towards something to be the best version of yourself.